Coming up, thousands decide who will lead the B.P.S.U for the next 3 years. We have stories from New Providence and Grand Bahama tonight. 2 men in the Marco Archer case released from police custody. Prison Chief Elliston Ramming discusses recidivism. And the PLP promising more jobs and a stronger economy. Stay put. The Bahamas Tonight Friday starts right now.
Covering the islands of the Bahamas, ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight.
Good to have you along this evening. I'm Shanique Miller. This is The Bahamas Tonight National Report. A developing story to share with you tonight. Our news team is on the scene of a reported suicide in eastern New Providence. The call came in after 5, and we're trying to get as much information on this apparent suicide for you. As soon as information becomes available, we'll share it with you. The most anticipated story of the day, who will it be? That's the question thousands of civil servants want the answer to tonight. It was another highly contested race today for key positions in the Bahamas Public Services Union. Public servants from various government departments and ministries turned out to cast their ballots. Prime among the concerns, a deeper sense of trust and a more stable financial position for the B.P.S.U. But the thing that took center stage today was the president's race. Betty Thompson-Moss picks up the story.
For at least the second time, there are 4 candidates seeking the president's post. Incumbent John Pinder of the Treasury Department was elected 9 years ago. Challenging Pinder are his Executive Vice President, Katrina Marsh, a Customs Officer, and Vice President Stephen Douglas, a Superintendent with the Ministry of Works. Alexander Burrows, a Finance Officer with the Public Hospital Authority, is also part of the 4-way race. The team led by Katrina Marsh, also known as United to Transform, is seeking to bring about more inclusion into the Public Services Union.
Plumbers, electricians, we're going to ask them to maintain our buildings. Auditor General Law, we're going to ask them to assist us with that. All right? We're going to actually regenerate the women's program. Also look at men's need. One of the most important things is, for a long time, industrial agreements have been sent to the employer without the employees having any idea what's in it. We feel they should be a part of the whole process.
A current Vice President Stephen Douglas is lobbying to move into the president's chair and bring about change that will also include shop stewards.
Shop stewards will be our main focus in this administration, where our shop stewards will have an association that will set up in branches that will be able to effectively communicate between members and administration, whereby we can have our members feeling that they're more a part of it, because we want shop stewards on the ground who are going to be able to be effective on a daily basis.
Now, the Hammer team led by Alexander Burrows is not impressed with the union executives, and he says his team is hoping to rebuild trust in the union.
The membership feel as though that they are isolated when it comes to these 3 officers. Instead of them fighting for the organization, fighting for the members, they are fighting among themselves. Those same 3 persons trying to see now who will be the next president of this union, other than trying to see who will get the next promotion in the Public Services Union. So it's not about the membership.
Now members turned out all day in considerable numbers to cast their ballots. Improved representation for public servants across the board appears to be a common goal among the government workers.
I do know that 9 years is enough time to show what you can do. And if you haven't done it, it's time for a change.
I just hope that the collaborative efforts of the members is looked after, and we're able to move the civil service forward.
Over 4,000 members were eligible to vote. Many of them say they are voting for a stronger union incorporated over 50 years ago to be the voice for government workers in the Bahamas. Betty Thompson-Moss, ZNS News.
Another twist in the investigation into the reported death of 11-year-old Marco Archer. This as police say they're working to conclude the matter and bring closure to the family. Clint Watson has this tonight.
Police confirming that two persons held in custody in connection with the reported death of 11-year-old Marco Archer has since been released. However, the prime suspect is still in police custody. We're told that police want to ensure that their case is based on solid evidence before going to court. They're working around the clock and moving swiftly to wrap up investigations. We're told that the suspect is expected to be charged with at least 2 other matters. Now, still at this stage, no confirmation that the remains are that of Marco Archer. DNA testing was done with the parents of Marco yesterday, and we understand that has been shipped off for quick analysis to bring some closure to family and also to the investigation. A senior police official says they are not rushing through this process, but are exercising due diligence to ensure there are no loopholes, errors, or left out facts. They also want to ensure that there are absolutely no other matters that this suspect is responsible for before they proceed with charges. Now, if you were hoping for some announcement this week, well, that won't happen. Police will not say anything further until they are at the end of the investigation and ready to charge the suspect before the courts. That, we're told, is expected to happen sometime next week. Meantime, Marco's family continue to sound off that something must be done to identify and expose sex offenders, in particular pedophiles. For them, while they feel that the body found is their loved one, having confirmation from the DNA tests will bring the closure they need at this point. Clint Watson, ZNS News.
With 104 murders recorded for the year, members of Civil Society Bahamas launching a national peace initiative, which they hope will combat crime. It comes on the heels of the brutal murder of 11-year-old Marco Archer. President of Civil Society Bahamas, Terry Miller, says the initiative includes a disciplinary approach to address violent crimes. Efforts will also be made to create a healthy and safe environment for children.
We will research and compile statistics on various forms of violence, including the domestic violence, alcohol and drug-related violence, drug trafficking and drug and gang-related violence, vigilante-related violence. We will design new programs and empower existing programs to address and reduce national parenting deficit, domestic violence and related laws, youth gang proliferation and gang-related violence, poverty and negative community cultures, processing of deportees convicted of violent crimes.
Meantime, President for Citizens for Change, Bishop Walter Hanchel, is calling for the return of corporal punishment in schools and prisons, particularly for repeat violent offenders.
We are hoping now, after the death of that innocent child this week, Marco Archer, we are hoping now that all of us would take serious action to deal with the criminal element in our country. And as somebody said, crime is everybody's problem. It's a community problem. But in order to deal with it, we have to address it. We cannot ignore it and hope that it go away. We have to do some things that will bring punishment to the offenders, especially the repeated offenders.
With mounting public concern about crime and repeat offenders, prison authorities maintain that reform measures implemented at Her Majesty's prisons are working. Officials are going on empirical data which shows a considerable decrease in the recidivism rate. Carla Palmer has that.
Superintendent of Prisons, Elliston Reming, says the facts are what they are, and he is standing by the data.
The fact of the matter is our recidivism rate among sentenced persons is under 25%. That is a fact. So we could look for easy excuses as much as we want to. Yes, we have persons who return to prison who was sentenced before, but the recidivism rate among sentenced persons is under 25%, one of the lowest anywhere.
According to the empirical evidence, there has been that decline in repeat offenders returning to prison by 50% over the last 10 years. And, says Reming, the prison is fulfilling its role as mandated by law.
Our job is to keep persons sent to us in safe, secure custody, to engender an atmosphere for rehabilitation and reformation and reintegration, and to deter would-be offenders from wanting to do those things that would possibly bring them to prison.
There are 1,300 inmates at Her Majesty's prison today. Cognizant of the fact that the prison system will not positively reform everyone, Raming says
that some people are beyond change. Some people do not wish to change. And there's no system you could put in place to change them until they reach a point where they decide that they are now ready to change. That's what that says.
at some point in time, shouldn't you step out and offer solutions? Because you would have persons who, yes, may have served their time, but will be released eventually having served their time. And if you don't feel that they have been changed or reformed, do you not make suggestions to legislators?
Some of the greatest actors in the Bahamas are offenders who could put on a show and make you believe that they've changed, and you wouldn't know until they are released. In fact, many times they genuinely think they have changed, and it's only when they get back in society and the pressures of the society pounce upon them that they realize that they're back in the vice grip of criminality as they were before. And so this is a very complex proposition that we're talking about. This is not utopia. You're not going to impact everyone. Some persons do not wish to change. And if they do not wish to change, it's like leading a horse to water. You can't make it drink.
Personally, do you agree that the laws of crime needs to be changed?
I don't speak personally. I speak as the superintendent of prison.
As a person of the community, as a citizen, do you feel that some laws need to be changed?
But as a matter of fact, it's my understanding that at the next sitting of Parliament, several laws will be introduced that reflect change.
Carla Palmer, ZNS News.
You saw it here on the Bahamas Tonight last night, the story of a missing 28-year-old. Well, for one family, what had the characteristics of a tragedy turned out to have a positive ending. Yesterday, we told you of a mother's fears that her 28-year-old son, Khalil Wright, had been missing since Monday. Well, after airing that story on the Bahamas Tonight, we can report to you that he has since been located and is said to be doing fine. Today, his mother, no longer distraught, called our newsroom and thanked us, crediting our story with assisting in locating her son. We have since learned that Khalil may have been in police custody all along.